Hey, Hucolo people. I was asked a couple of questions by a friend and from Hucolo, and I want to answer as a podcast. Podcast is easy for me because I just can walk on nature and dictate the podcast. The question is about money. Why cannot the aliens help us make money and create a more financially prosperous community of light workers? Before going to the answers, which is which is not simple, before going to the answer, I want to invite you all to join Hucolo Public if you didn't do so. There are two major groups. One is Hucolo Private and another one is Hucolo Public. Obviously, we made Hucolo Private so people can hide their affiliation with Hucolo, so their friends and employers would know that the people are connected to light workers. But I think times are changing, and the best thing you guys can do is to join Hucolo Public and comment theirs and be active participants there, and I think people will forgive you for being active in that area of internet. And also, don't overestimate how much other people are researching your profile on Facebook. Usually they look at your posts but don't go into your group subscription, so it's very unlikely that you will be discovered there. The reason I want to activate Hucolo Public, to make it more active, because we need new members. We need to have our discussion known. We want to broadcast more. We want to have more exposure to the outside world, so more people will discover about us. So Hucolo Public I think is a very important part of the development. Of course, I'm talking about Hucolo Public on Facebook. I wouldn't mind creating other communities in other platforms, but at the moment we don't have around any free platforms which are compatible with Facebook by the features. Facebook is free and works fast, doesn't crash. So based on that, it is the cheapest. It is a free functional community platform, and it is usable. The best alternative is Ning and ING, and it is way expensive. It's very, very expensive. So at the moment we don't have a good free platform to use other than Facebook. Now going to the question about the financial activity of the friendly aliens. I think it would be great if they helped us with money and finances and directed some funding to us, so we could expand, we could produce more videos, have some workers paid, and make a broadcasting business on the basis of Hucolo and other light worker communities. It would be terrific. In the past I frequently discussed that with Gurkvitnir and other aliens and invited their help. And here what I understand why they don't help. So basically we have to look at different groups one by one. The major group is positive aliens of higher dimensions, which are part of some major alliances. So the major alliances, they have their own policies of non-interference, essentially. They are allowed, according to their policies, they are allowed to do channelings, do secret research, like including hybridizations and secretly taking people off the planet, but they are not allowed to interfere with the events on the planet. They are basically sitting on their hands and doing nothing in terms of interfering with the internal affairs of the planet. And that refers to Gurkvitnir, basically the alliance around Yael, and the Galactic Federation of Light. One reason they don't want to interfere is because they don't want responsibility. Suppose they take power on the planet. Suppose the negatives give up and the positive alliance take control over the planet. They have very little control over the things, and the economy and the whole civilization would very likely crash, and we would have a major economical crisis and consequences, and they wouldn't be able fast enough to produce sustainable new social system right away. They don't have resources, they don't have qualifications, they don't want to be responsible for our crisis, and they don't want to be the cause of the major disasters on the planet. Essentially, their expertise is in galactic politics, and they don't have funds, resources, qualified volunteers, and a program that would take power on the planet and oversee the conversion from the current pretty evil system to the better system. It is not their job. They don't want to be responsible for that. And second, it goes against the major idea that the planet has to with itself. Basically, humans are destined to take control over the planet. They don't want to be taken over by the aliens. That's the major idea. The whole plan is for the humans to take charge, not for the aliens to come and save us. Essentially, when they see that there is a capable human movement that is capable of taking charge of the planet and drive it through the transformation, they would jump and help. But they cannot take the responsibility, and also they cannot jump and help movements which are not capable of taking charge. And it is not easy to transform the planet. Suppose they take, for example, positive leaders like maybe Gorbachev in Russia, JFK, John Kennedy in the United States, Jimmy Carter. They tried and basically failed. It's very hard to take charge of to basically transform a very corrupt and wicked system, which is built for thousands of years on trickery and crime. Not only the politicians which are corrupt and criminal, it's also the corporate world, and unfortunately the major population is pretty backward on average. Basically, the humans on the planet are not yet ready for the reform. It'd be nice if they were ready, but I don't see that happening. It is when people on average are given a chance to reform, they are divided, and there is a lot of people who are not conscientious enough, not conscious enough to actually transition to a better system. Corruption and crime are penetrating the society on a very deep level, including corporations, courts, mass media, and unfortunately even good social movements are hijacked by the negatives, always hijacked by the negatives. So the only trust is in grassroots movements which don't have leadership. Then such a movement can be independent. If there is a leadership, then it is always guaranteed to be hijacked. There are operatives, provocateurs in every movement on the planet. So that relates, the above describes the situation with members of major alliances in the galaxy. They are waiting for us to evolve. They're sending us help through available means, including channelings and secret ways, but not through financial activities or open contacts. The second type of alien groups is independents, pirates, and proactive operatives who operate on the planet. These guys have limited resources. They are independent, so they have to find their own resources, and they work in secret, penetrating the major control places in the planet, including politics and corporations and everything that matters. They have to work in secret. It's hard for them to openly help light workers. And the second thing, they are not pure themselves. When you start operating practically within the human system, you have to use operatives and workers which are capable of, which are compatible with the system. And only people which are in between, basically, they're partly positive and partly negative, can actually survive in the system. It's pretty much impossible for clean souls and clean individuals to be here. I'm talking about humans brought up on other planets, humans from a galaxy, like Earth humans from a galaxy. Genetically they're Earth humans, but they were born, say, in the Pleiadian system. They come here as operatives. There are hybrids and there are aliens which take the bodies of cloned humans, basically pretend to be humans, or aliens that are actually completely human but look like humans. So they are operating within important structures. They have very nice secrecy and nice command, but they cannot do things in the open so far. They have plans, and there are independent proactive associations which actually have ideas and plans how to help the planet to become liberated, to liberate the planet, and to help the societies, the governments, the societies to reform. So they have the plans, and still they are not ready for the transformation. They need more work to be done. They need more resources. So their resources are limited, and they work in secret, so they cannot help openly. And it is more than one group of positive aliens helping us, and I support them, but it's hard to get in touch with them since they're secretive. Also, in channelings, they don't want to reveal their plans because these plans then will be compromised. So they reveal their presence, they reveal their activity, but they don't reveal the plans. The next group are the angels and the spiritual, discarnated spiritual masters, spiritual masters, great yogis, great teachers. They have their own groups, and they have their own activities on the planet. They have the ability to help. And they are helping, but their help is limited with the idea of karma. It is the work of the spirit, so they are not in a hurry. They do their work supporting positive developments, and they give financial support indirectly. The help of the angels and spirits is such that free will is very important, and learning lessons for us, learning lessons is very important. So they have to help only a little bit in a time, and essentially the idea is to keep us on a certain level of financial prosperity and teach us how to attract the finances ourselves. Essentially they tell us to be positive, to be forgiving, and to be positively moving forward no matter what, and attract financial success through our own health and own belief in positivity, our own trust in positivity. I'm looking at my favorite spiritual teachers, Terence McKenna, Ram Dass, Krishna Das, and all three of them had a very good connection with the spiritual teachers, with the spirit, and got a lot of support from the spirit. But essentially this support was enough for them to travel around, give lectures, and this way they support themselves, and they had enough money for a short while, but the financial interest for them pushed them towards giving more lectures, and this way they were basically motivated to continue their lecture. I was also said by some of the aliens that there is an optimal amount of finances, and I was a little bit offended by that, but when I'm looking at myself, when I have too little, I cannot do work on my science, and when I have too much, sometimes it happens, I'm also distracted by the money and cannot focus on my science. Only when I have sort of limited amount, then my science move forward, and I actually am motivated to earn more by doing more science. There was a moment when I had a bit of money on my hands, like more than usual, and because of the inflation, it took me a lot of effort to actually keep this money from disappearing. So the money require the owner to actually do a lot of work to save them, so and invest. So this is a major learning and a major activity which distracts from actually doing the work. So rich people are so busy keeping their money that they don't have time for creative activity. Actually, that's the nature of the money in this system. So I also observe that there are people who are very good with money, who have no problem earning money, attracting money, and that the talent that comes with good grounding, with pretty good health in many cases. Not always. There are some very sick people who attract money, but there are healthy light workers who attract money, who have no problem earning and attracting more money. And my sense is that it is a talent which is acquired through training, through practice, and the best way for the rest of us is to connect to them and work with them and basically help them and do partnerships with those who can attract money. That's on my opinion is the easiest way which I would advise to other people. Most of the light workers, they suffer from loneliness and disconnection, so I would advise to people to actually connect to each other and look for those talented light workers that are good in earning money and attracting money, and then basically partnering with them. You can recognize those people first by presence of money. They don't demonstrate it, but you can see that. Physically, look at their eyes. There is a special structure of the eyes with pretty fat, thick lower eyelid. Under the eye there is like nice, healthy, fat layer of skin. Like look at the photograph of middle-aged Bill Gates. You will see that in his face. There are people who are connected to the earth and to the element of earth. Their feet are well developed. Their lower part of the legs is well developed. The chins are wider and well developed. Thicker bones of the legs and bigger legs. Also, their jaws are well developed, and the big jaw, more like a square jaw, is attracting wealth. It's not the only type of the person, but at least that's a starting point where you can start looking for light workers that are capable of attracting wealth, and then developing relationships with them and trying to be helpful to them, because everyone has a key. Not everyone has a prosperity key, but by partnering with prosperity carrying people, it is possible to collaborate and cooperate. Neem Karoli Baba was a very advanced yogi, and he had many abilities, including the ability to live parallel lives and be in many places at once. Neem Karoli Baba once was sitting. Neem Karoli Baba once was sitting in front of the fire with his followers, and a poor traveling Indian monk came to the fire asking for help, and Neem Karoli Baba asked him for money. And the traveler said that he has no money, and Neem Karoli Baba said, "And what do you have in your belt?" So the traveler give me that money, and the traveler gave the money to Neem Karoli Baba, and Neem Karoli Baba threw it in the fire. And the monk is supposed to give up all the earthly attachments and not to be interested in money, and be poor and not to carry anything with him. So that was a violation of trust of people. So the monk started crying that it was savings for his retirement. And the money were burning in the fire. And Neem Karoli Baba said, "Oh, I didn't realize you're so attached to money." And he took the pieces of money, the papers of money, one by one from the fire, using grabbing thingy. And the pieces came out untouched by fire, and these were new rupees. And he gave money one by one to the poor traveler. Many Westerners tried to give money to Neem Karoli Baba, but he refused. He said, "Why do I need your paper? All the money in the world are mine." And since he was a reincarnation of Hanuman, one of the deities in Indian culture, he had access to all the resources on the planet. So, but he used that wisely, and whenever he needed, he had resources to use, and he was able to manipulate people and manipulate the information, so the money were coming to him when they were needed, but there was no excesses. So essentially, the conclusion is, from the spirit point of view, the money is not an issue. They can be created, they can be transferred, the resources can be allocated, but it's all a part of the play of karma, and that has to be played wisely. With that, I conclude. Send me more questions if you want me to discuss them. Have a good day.